Welcome to the Hurt So Good show with Doc Hurts and Izzy, Mr. Izzy. Yep, we're going to be talking about Jalen Hurts versus Sileo Check Your Record. And what I want you to do, those of you tuned in, listening in, I would like for you to subscribe, like for you to share, to send it out, and so that we can be seen and people can start hearing what the Hurts got to say about it. As Mr. Izzy say, talking about Hurts business. Like to say anything before we get started, Mr. Izzy? All right. What we want to talk about first is for a while now we've had what we call the Hurts haters. Yeah, the Hurts haters. They hate on Hurts for no reason, and we see that there is no excuse for it. So what I want to do right now, I want to go and I want to play you just a little clip of the Jakeem show with Dan Sileo and that Philly 500. I'm not going to tell you what I really call their names, but later on, if they keep getting me heated, I will tell you what I call them. And I'm going to tell you that Dan Sileo, that Philly 500, even Brunson and the rest of the crew, every one of them had something negative to say. And this was way before I put my little tag in it. I had told them just how I feel it. I know they got the message. So they're going to be on their toes. So we're going to just hear a little bit of what they're talking about. So just bear with us. We're going to hear what they have to say.
How you feeling?
Hey, yo, Sills.
Yo.
He's starting to look like a franchise quarterback, my man. He's starting to look like a franchise quarterback. Last time I spoke to you,
46-1, Philly.
I don't care if it's 50.2. He's looking like it, man. Listen, last time I talked to you was right before the Minnesota. You didn't have any confidence in that team going into that game, but they beat the crap out of them. And people could say what they want. I mean, Minnesota's probably at least a playoff.
Okay, it doesn't seem like we're picking their voices up. Try it again. Well, that just goes to show you.
Team.
Yes.
And then they
can you hear him now?
To me, they went and they took care of a division opponent.
We could,
coming off a Monday night game on the road, and as of right now, what I've seen of Jalen Hurts, I think. Okay,
we're gonna stop for a minute.
You got to give it to him if he can stay consistent the rest of the year.
I want to throw this at you. I had Rob Ellis out early, and I want to see if you're seeing the same thing I am.
Okay.
He's doing. If you take these three games that he played, Philly, the Detroit game, Minnesota game, and Washington game have been completely different attacks. And that makes it so much more to prepare for on what and who you're seeing. He had to run for his life because the O-line didn't pass protect that well. Got the job done. Against Minnesota, he was flawless. Throwing the ball. Hell, against the Commanders, he barely ran, and he was controlled. His pocket presence and field presence have been the most impressive thing, along with the accuracy, have been the most impressive thing so far that we've seen in this early season. Is that fair?
I totally 100% agree. Yes. I you know what? The best pass, he's made some really nice passes, but I think it was a Monday night game pass to Goddard between two guys. Goddard actually drops the ball, but I didn't see that from Jalen Hurts a year ago. I didn't see that kind of accuracy.
Okay, I'm gonna stop for a minute, go back and let you hear a little bit of the first part of this conversation.
A Monday night game on the road, and as of right now, what I've seen of Jalen Hurts, I think you got to give it to him if he can stay consistent the rest of the year.
I want to throw this at you, and I have.
Okay, we hear that.
Come with us. All right, homie. How you feeling?
Hey, yo, Sills.
Yo,
He's starting to look like a franchise quarterback, my man. He's starting to look like a franchise quarterback. Last time I spoke to you,
46-1, Philly.
I don't care if it's 50.2. He's looking like it, man. Listen, last time I talked to you was right before the Minnesota game. You didn't have any confidence in that team going into that game, but they beat the crap out of them. And people can say what they want. I mean, Minnesota's probably at least a playoff team.
Yes.
And then they, to me, they went and they took care of a division opponent, or coming off a Monday night game on the road.
Okay, here's it. I'm gonna go back and switch to you. Want to talk about now? What do you got to say about them guys before I light into them?
Well, I'm very surprised that Philly 500 is still attempting to support Jalen. If you look back on Philly 500 and what's his name? There's a guy by the name of Joey Shakes.
Joey Shakes.
These two individuals, the day he was drafted, they were cursing. And Eagle fans were just so bewildered. And the problem is the Eagles fans, Jalen has been the best thing that happened to them. You look at the players that he's been able to provide them off his salary. So these guys hold no credibility. They're pretty much couch coordinators who think they have all the ideas, but if it would have been up to them, they would have had any quarterback besides the quarterback they have. It would have been Kyler Murray. It would have been Russell Wilson. It would have been Deshaun Watson. So a lot of these couch coordinators, all they do, they're like on the beach. They just roll with the tide. These guys are big anchors. These are big anchors who just sit back and they hold down a fan base. But the good thing is they're not the owner. They're not a coach. These are just couch commentators who just run their mouth, and that's all they're good for.
Okay, well, I'll just say this: you go and we look back when they started and was listening to them, they wouldn't have had no quarterback because they wouldn't have even picked a quarterback. They said they shouldn't have picked the quarterback, so they wouldn't even have Jalen. They wouldn't have had Deshaun and all those other guys because they wouldn't even have picked the quarterback. But that being said, what I want to say about them, and then many of them didn't even take the time just to look at the record. Jalen has always been a winner. Jalen has always been a winner. Many of them don't even go back and to understand where he comes from. Jalen's record was one of the best records that they was. I think there's only one quarterback who may have had more wins than him. I think that was Trevor Lawrence, and he had some championships that he won, and maybe two. I don't know, was it three? Do you remember? But I know he won at least two. And Jalen's record, he had more yards passing and running. Now listen, passing and running than both of the guys who won the Heisman trophies coming out of Oklahoma when he played at Oklahoma. See, if you look at the record, he was always a winner. And what a lot of people don't understand is even before then in high school, Jalen's hero was his brother. That was his brother. His brother was a quarterback. His dad was the coach. Jalen said what motivated him is his brother lost a championship game to another team. He said that motivated him, and he determined in his mind that he was going to get revenge for him. That kind of remind you anybody like Mike Tyson when he saw Muhammad Ali lose, he said he was going to go back and he was going to beat the guy who beat him, and he did that. He destroyed him. Listen, Jalen from high school went back. He won the championship over the team that beat his brother. So even though they see Jalen, they don't understand that he has a history. Yes, he's cool, he's calm, he's collect, he's tempered, he's strong, but guess what? He also has that revenge factor. So what happened when he came into the game, they had Tua to come out. Tua was a gunslinger, going to sling the ball, throw the ball, and for some reason, the coach felt that's what he needed at that time. And I will say this: Tua was probably a better passer, and so he threw him in the game. But Jalen stood around, came and got better, and what did he do? He won the championship when Tua had to be taken out of the game. And if it wasn't for that, they wouldn't have went on to the championship, the playoffs then. So all his life, he's been a winner, and he's also motivated by the negativity. So even though you may not think Jaden is the kind of guy that says, hey, he wanted it for his brother, now he's got to do it for himself. And all the naysayers, and this is what I want to bring in perspective. When I say Jalen has always been a winner, you know what profession you're in now, and you know what profession you've been in. And you look at your life and in your profession, tell me, are you a winner or were you a loser? I told this to Dan Sileo because he's talking so much noise. I looked up his record. He made it to the pros. He played 10 games where he started. He lost every game they played. He never played in the NFL again. Now, this is the guy that's got this negativity, right? He could tell you all of this, but what happened to you? And I had to say this as a professional. I don't know nobody who's failed that much. 10 times in a row, you never won nothing and you were out. But that's okay. Keep talking and saying what you're saying. But look at what's going on. Look at what's going on. Then you got a bunch of commentators up there. Every last one of those commentators, only from the Keeb show, only one has ever won a championship. One has only won a championship out of all those guys running their mouth. And guess what? The one who won it, his last year, he played 12 seasons. This last year, he played only in the fourth quarter, maybe 3 or 4 downs. He had no sacks, but he won a championship. He was with a championship team. So when you look at the best guy they got on there is a quarterback, right? Jaworski. Did Jaworski ever win a championship? No. Did any of those other quarterbacks that they said that were so good, did any of them ever win a championship? No. The Philadelphia Eagles only won one championship, the same as the New Orleans Saints. But they want to beat their chest and run around. I'm talking about the media part of it, as if they're the greatest thing going. Come on, let's reality check. You only won one championships. And as much as they don't like the Dallas Cowboys, even if they didn't win in 20 years, the Dallas Cowboys got more championships than them. The Dallas Cowboys is the number one marketed team in the NFL, and they're still considered America's team. You may not like it. That's reality. But first of all, you got to really know who you are and stop trying to be what you're not. You know, as a fan of New Orleans Saints, that yes, you want them to win, but you got to look at reality. New Orleans only won one championship. New Orleans were the original bagheads. That's the reality. So when you go back saying Jalen can't do this, Jalen can't do that, look at the people who are promoting this negativity. And part of probably why they get the results they got. You want to talk about Carson Wentz? Okay, he failed. He didn't do good. He did this and that. But if it wasn't for Carson, y'all wouldn't have got to the championship and the Philadelphia Eagles wouldn't have won. You got to give credit where credit is due and stop all the negativity. And that's why Jalen is trying to get them to change the narrative. Winners is a team sport. If we're going to pull for the team, pull for the team. If you're going to tell the truth, you got to know where you're at to know where you're going. So it's time to pull the mask off, stop trying to be something you're not. Stop trying to crap on somebody because that's all you're used to doing, and begin to look at what you need to do and get with the Hurt So Good program. Now, I'm through ranting on them. You can go on and take over and say something, whatever you got to say. We're going to listen.
Well, it's all well. Keep up the commentary if you want it. If you want it negative, just keep that same energy when the tide is turning. So that's my whole opinion on it. You can have your negativeness, you can say what you want, but at the end of the day, like he's saying, the facts are coming out, the facts are there. You see the quarterbacks, you see the completion, you see the passing yards, and you see the win loss record. So at the end of the day, when there's one finger pointing out, remember there's gonna be more pointing back at you. So keep the negative commentary, keep it coming. All you haters out there, hurt season, we here. So everybody, you had your opportunity, we gave you a chance. So do a 360, do a turnaround, and do what you're gonna do. But just let you know, hey, keep that same energy.
Now they got a game coming up. This it's coming up uh this week. They're playing who is it? I believe the Jacksonville Jaguar.
Yeah.
I want to get your take on that.
I think this should be a great game because you're playing against a coach who you were fired, who's been fired, and pretty much everyone's ranking you at the minimum a top five football team. So this is a game here where you're playing against a really good opponent. So I'm just excited to see what Jacksonville has to offer, and let's see what Philadelphia is going to do. I'm excited. Doesn't matter what happens to me. What's your take?
I feel that they're bringing in a coach who he because Philadelphia is composed of some veterans and some young guys. So as a coach, he's gonna know some of the weak points of some of the veterans who are still on that team. He's probably going to know some of the things that they kept, like some of the plays that they kept from the old regime. If you go in, you don't just take all the plays out. You kind of keep some of them because your guys are familiar with them, right? So the coach is going to be aware of some of the schemes that they're going to come out with. He also going to be aware of some of the tendencies that Jalen has and others who were there when he was there. He's going to know that. So he's going to know some of their weaknesses. Now, what I also believe is going to be a big factor, they're playing at Eagle Stadium, right? They're going to play at their stadium, a home turf. The crowd is going to be with them. That's going to be a good thing. So with that being said, now, I believe that the quarterback is Trevor Lawrence, right? I said before, Trevor Lawrence is a winner. He's a winning quarterback. So he's really good at passing that ball. He knows how to be in the big moment. So you can't take that lightly. But I hate to say this, but I think it's going to be a big factor. Right now, there's a storm going through Florida. When that storm goes through Florida, many of those guys who live in that city is going to be impacted. Jacksonville is going to be impacted. They're going to have to go back and start, raising money for different things. Some of those guys are going to have to do repairs with their homes, their families. So there's going to be a little lull in the mental disconnect. You follow me? When home is coming and then you're trying to go out and do something, I think their minds are not going to really focus on the game. But I do believe Philly cannot sleep on that, and they got to be on them. So I don't think any game in the NFL, like I say, any given Sunday, I believe the worst team can be the best team. New Orleans proved that. They had one of the worst records playing against a team that was, I think they were so many games and they beat them, and it's happened time and time again. So you can't never count anybody out. So with that, I feel that the Eagles may win this game, and I believe they will. And I just want them to be on top. Don't just take them for granted. But they're going to go through something mentally. They're already going through it because of where many of them are from. So what do you got to say?
I wasn't even going to speak on it, but that passed my mind. But I think I'm going to have to pretty much say the same thing. Football is important, and you got to keep your mental stability together because there's just a lot going on in Florida, and just a lot going on. So I think the Eagles can definitely win this game. So whatever's going to happen is going to happen. I got all the confidence they can do it. So nothing to it but to do it. And that's just my commentary. I think it'll be a pretty low scoring game, anywhere about 28-24 Eagles. So that's my take on it.
Okay, I kind of think if the Eagles are probably going to take out, I'm looking for them to score at least 34 points. And I figure defense will probably lock down and they probably hold that team under 20. So I'll look at it as say 20 to 34. I think the Eagles will do good with that. Another thing I want to talk about, and I'm going to cut this video up in a little, about three different parts, so make sure we put it out there. But I believe what also is another thing that's going on with the podcasting and also with the reporters, the one who like the ESPNs, is the fact that you hear guys saying, well, if it was me, I wouldn't pay him this. I wouldn't pay this guy that. I wouldn't pay this. Listen, as professionals and as people going their daily jobs, you don't have random people negotiating your salary. You have agents for that. You have a company for that. I think the bloggers have gotten to the point where they are doing a disservice by being the ones to try to tell those guys what they should be making. That's not sports. This is entertainment. You can give information, right? You can give the information. Information are the facts. What happened? What this is? What about the sport? But as far as talking about the paycheck come out and that shows public information on how much these guys make concerning football. But it doesn't show what they make on the outside. All of that isn't public information. Sometimes, your W-2s and stuff is private. So I think they've gotten to the point where they actually feel like they're the ones negotiating who should get paid what, and I think they're out of line, and I think they need to stop it. They need to stop it, because those men put their bodies on the line, put their life on the line. There's not a day when they go out of practice, a day that they don't go on the field, that they actually could lose their life. Now, many of us don't have jobs where we can go and actually lose our life. They can get hit and be dead. They can be hit and be crippled. So I think with this commenting on who should be getting what and this and that, why are you commenting on that? The sports agents should take care of that. The guys who pay them should take care of that. Not you. We're talking about football. See, if I'm talking about Jalen Hurts, I'm telling you, go back, look at his record. When I'm talking about Sileo, I'm saying Sileo, go back and look at your record when you played football and then what you're talking about. When I'm talking about these commenters who played the sport, go back and look and see how many of them actually won championships. Now, the Eagles have he's supposed to be one of the Eagle commenters, right? Sileo. He's got in the background, he's got a Philly thing, I guess, not Philly, but or Tampa Bay. He played for Tampa Bay. So these are things that I'm talking about are sports facts. The sports facts. What are your records in football? I'm not a professional football player, never was. But guess what? I've always been a Hurts. And like you say, when we Hurts, we talk about Hurts business. Come on, talk to us before we get out there, ready to get on out of here, is it? And we're going to be coming back for the rest of this year, and we're going to be hitting you with some stuff that's going to make you get your mind right.
Definitely. So all you little gossipers out there, you do nothing but just dig in the trash and you try to dig up information and talking about things that are irrelevant. Let's just cut it out. Why don't you just go ahead and say what you really want to say? If you don't want to support Jalen, go ahead and say it. Just put your mouth on it. Put your word on it. Don't be a coward. Don't hide behind your words because you already got your videos out there and you got them out there for everybody to see. So don't backtrack, don't backpedal, don't get a hurt season hat when everybody was falling out and crying and acting like the world was gonna end. So the first thing I want as a Hurts, I want an apology. And until I get that, we don't really care what you guys are saying because all of you guys that's lined up right now, hooraying and shouting and running around with your flag. Remember you're on draft day. So keep that same energy if we see you in person. And hey, Eagles will be in Houston, Texas. And so if you got an issue with anything I said, you can see me there. That's all I can say about it.
That sounds like fighting words. Look, you ain't got to apologize to me. But
it's going to be fighting with words. We are fighting with words because when Jalen was drafted, When Jalen was drafted by the Eagles, there was
no.
yeah. I didn't forget about this. How did you feel about the Phillies?
Well, okay. What about Philly? What you mad at Philly about? What?
Philadelphia used explicit language on what should be the greatest day of someone's life. You guys had a lot of explicit words, and don't think I forgot. So I'm not gonna play with you and act like we're buddies and let's get a Hurt season hat. We ain't happening.
Okay, but listen, what I'm saying is you ain't gotta apologize to me. That's you. This is you. You saying what you feel. Okay, that's you. You say you want something till they get apology. I'm saying you ain't gotta apologize to me. But my thing is go back, look at the record. Hurts so good because he's gonna come with a different spirit. Y'all gonna see. Matter of fact, you can see the dichotomy. I'm saying don't apologize to me. Young Hurts say you're gonna have to apologize to see him at the game. And Jalen is the one you're gonna have to deal with on the field. That's the one you have to worry about.
There it is.
Yeah, and you know what? Jalen didn't forget about what happened to his brother, and he definitely ain't gonna forget about because he's got a goal in mind. Can't y'all see it by now? Come on, ride along. It says, I think old 5500 say it's how we vision, and we're just all living in it or something like that, right? So we want to see your face in the place, and as we go to this Super Bowl.
Yeah, and it ain't Denzel Washington, but we out of here.
Yeah, you ain't Denzel Washington. You're more like Chris Farley. Yeah, Philly 500. I get it right. Your eyes wrong, buddy. You're not Denzel Washington. You're more like Chris Farley. All right, we out of here. Till next time, we coming back next week. See ya. Wouldn't wanna be ya.